So, that new Fortnite season came out a few weeks ago. Who cares? Okay, don't get me wrong. The season is fun, but also at the same time, the announcement that a new Fortnite season is coming out is the same thing as announcing there's not a cure for cancer. Wow, really? Who could have seen that one coming? Where's the interesting news? Like the news that a hero shooter game that was announced 2 months ago had millions invested into it and spent 8 years in development is going offline 2 weeks after release. Oh, thank God. Game development takes time. Seriously, you could announce a game in 2011, then in 2012 announce the release date of 2013, and then oh dang it. After a very long and lengthy development, Fortnite Save the World released on July 25th, 2017 as a paid early access, with it eventually set to go free to play. 7 years later, I'm still waiting. See, Save the World wasn't exactly popular. There's a few reasons that I'll dive into in just a bit, but the biggest one being the release of Fortnite Battle Royale, a mode that was made in about a month, just intended to be a small spin-off with no connection to the main mode at all, beyond reusing a ton of assets. But guess what happened? Can you figure it out? Can you? Yeah, so, Battle Royale ended up being extremely popular. It was huge. Everyone wanted to play Fortnite Battle Royale. With its fun art style, its new take on the Battle Royale genre, with the building mechanic, etc, etc. The mode that was meant to only ever be this forgotten child quickly became a worldwide phenomenon. And the mode that was meant to be the focus was slowly but surely pushed to the side. But why? Why was Battle Royale the only one to become popular and not Save the World? Well, obviously part of the reason is that Battle Royale was a free game mode. Save the World was pretty pricey. Obviously nowadays, with the new starter packs that have replaced the Founders packs, the price to play Save the World has gone down a lot. But back then, you'd be forced to pay upwards of $40 just to get entry to the mode. That's a lot of money in a year with a ton of other games releasing. In the same year Save the World released, you had the Nintendo Switch coming out, you had Breath of the Wild, Cuphead, Hollow Knight, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Odyssey, etc. Even just $40 is a lot to ask. It also doesn't help that the game, and this is my biggest point and honestly the reason I want to make this video, isn't exactly very good.
I mean, yeah, there's monsters. A lot of monsters. But we've got massive forts. Killer traps. And piles of loot. If we stick together, they don't stand a chance. This is our world, and it's time to take it back.
Fortnite Save the World's gameplay is rather simple. It is a zombie survival game set in a world taken over by enemies known as the Husks, created by an entity known as the Storm. The remaining survivors of the takeover set up bases, and as the player, also known as the Commander, you lead one of those bases. The Save the World has many different game modes in order to provide variety, such as rescuing survivors, resupplying, escorting a bomb safely, destroying Husk encampments, and a whole bunch of others to go through. There's a lot of quests to do as well. There's daily and weekly challenges, main story quests, new quest lines which have their own little mini stories you can experience, Storm Shield defense missions which are essentially protecting the home base you designed for a few minutes, and again, even more I could waste all my time going through. And the best part is all of these are multiplayer modes. You can play them single player, but it's regularly recommended as a multiplayer experience. So, you'd think with all of the game modes, all of the variety there is to experience, this game would be really fun. The game would never get repetitive or boring, there'd always be a new thing to experience. Yeah, well, you're gonna want to sit down for this one. That did not end up being the case. Save the World might just be one of the most boring games I've ever played, and I promise I'm not exaggerating. Despite all of the different game modes, the quests, the events, and all that there is to do, the gameplay loop at the end of the day is still incredibly repetitive. Protect a thing, shoot husks, shoot, shoot, shoot. That is all there is to it. There's nothing really interesting about Save the World, nothing that helps it stand out beyond just its art style. You'll get a few hours of enjoyment out of it at first, but eventually you realize the story amounts to nothing but doing the same boring tasks over and over again. It's either harvest this or kill that. There is very little actually engaging about this game. And you're probably asking yourselves at this point, okay, Why do people still play the mode? The answer to this is actually really simple. Outside of the incredibly small minority which actually enjoys the game, almost everyone plays it for the XP and the V-Bucks. The V-Bucks help quite a lot too. See, the season started about 2 weeks ago as of writing this, and since I no longer subscribe to Fortnite crew, I had to pay for the battle pass with my own V-Bucks. On top of that, Iron Spider came out, and as a massive Spider-Man dick rider who owns pretty much almost everything related to Spider-Man in Fortnite, I was left with a measly 400. It has been 10 days since Iron Spider, and I'm now back at 2,000 V-Bucks already. Most of those came from Save the World, because as I mentioned earlier, Save the World has daily quests, and if you bought the Founders Edition like I did, those daily quests will grant you a minimum of 80 V-Bucks every day. On top of that, there are also other ways to get V-Bucks, such as doing storm shields and mission alerts, but daily quests are the most efficient. Well, what about the Battle Pass XP? Well, Save the World, as of writing this, grants 5.5 levels every single day for simply playing the game. Keep in mind this could become incorrect depending on when you watch this, because Epic is constantly changing the XP rates for all of the modes, but as of September 3rd, it grants 5.5 levels. Doing that every day for 5 days is 25 levels, for 10 it'd be 50, and obviously 20 it'd be 100. That's only assuming you do Save the World and nothing else. 5 levels might not seem like much, but it adds up very fast. On top of that, there are also daily and weekly quests which don't count towards the XP limit. One daily grants 22k, whereas weekly quests grant 119k, so about a level and a half. I didn't consistently start playing the season until Iron Spider dropped, and I've already gotten to level 85, again, as of writing this. Now, I didn't do the Save the World method because, to put it lightly, I've got way better things to do. At most, I get my daily challenge done and then I leave. What I've been doing is sitting around in LEGO, but we're not here to talk about that. Just from what I've said here alone, I think it's pretty obvious by this point why people still play Save the World. Even if you didn't buy the Founders Pack, you still get a ton of Battle Pass XP from it, which I think is a good enough reason for most people. But I can't lie, it is frustrating that the gameplay loop is so boring that the only thing pulling most people in is the fact it helps them in a completely different mode. This gameplay can be fun, it has potential to be good, but clearly the team keeping this one alive aren't being given the resources they need to actually do so. It's likely why major updates for the mode take forever to come out. Epic has abandoned this mode, which is why I do think it's honestly honourable that the devs are still working on the game. Despite all its flaws, there is still a passionate dev team behind it. Now, do I blame Epic for abandoning this mode? No, of course not. I do get why they did that. At the end of the day, Save the World doesn't do as well as Battle Royale to justify continuous updates. It never really has and probably never will. It's an unfortunate but real fact. But I do wish they would have given it more of a chance. And one reason I wish that is Save the World has a ton of charm to it.
Hey, put the camera down, man. It's showtime. All right, clear! Grab what you can. Hey, we got some good stuff, man. Hurry up, don't get the wall, man. Come on, do something awesome. Turn on the generator! Oh, here they come! The generators now!
Throughout my time doing my daily quests, I've been doing other quests just as a result of playing the game. I didn't intend to do them, the quests were just easy enough to where I was doing them just by existing. It also helped that they were party assisted, so since I was doing fills, the people I found online would just help against their will. The storyline I ended up doing was Locke's Tales from Beyond, and this was where I got the idea to a video on Save the World, because something about Save the World's writing is just surprisingly good. For the record, I'm fully aware this event is old, that's where the majority of Save the World content comes from now, just reusing old content, but it's still a genuinely fun storyline, and it's purely because of the writing. I won't lie when I say that I fully believe Save the World has far better writing than Battle Royale, and I know there's some hardcore Battle Royale lore enthusiasts out there who will fight me on this, and I'm perfectly ready for this. But I love how Save the World has a consistent cast of characters with genuine personalities. Meanwhile, Battle Royale is fighting to have even one main character. As of right now, I guess we've got Jones and Hope, but who knows if they'll stay. I don't really remember much of the Save the World story because I did it years ago, probably back in 2020, and back then I didn't really pay attention to media like that. I was like 13, I didn't really care. My point is, the fact that just from doing even one of these quests I can fairly give you a general idea of each character's personality is pretty good writing. Ray, for example, is the head of the home base, so she's pretty strict. But she also has a genuine caring side to her. She's the most logical of the group and very level-headed. Oswald is a hard-boiled soldier who has made fighting his entire life, but he also has a deeper side to him that they explore quite a bit in Tales of Beyond, where Oswald speaks of his wife who fell out of love with him, believing that the man who came home is not the man she fell in love with. Similar to Ray, he is strict while having a side of tragedy to him. Locke and Dennis are more of the comedic characters who don't really have too much growth. They're there for comedic relief, and honestly they work really well. Especially during this questline, both got quite a few laughs out of me. Even outside of character writing, the entire game represents something I think Fortnite has been missing for a while. The total goofiness of it all. Nowadays, Battle Royale tries to go for a more realistic approach, especially in its visual design. Look at the current graphics, for example. The map and the game in general feel so lacking in style. Save the World, whether it be the main story, the mini questlines, the visual itself, all of it has such a unique feel to it that I can't get over. This game mode represents a charm that I wish Battle Royale had kept. Sure, it might be outdated, but who cares, man? It works, and it works brilliantly. Save the World gets a lot of slack, very regularly, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you it isn't deserved because I'd be lying. Like I said, the gameplay gets really repetitive and boring, and there's really not much incentive to come back if you take away the XP and V-Bucks. But despite that, I think playing it recently through the questlines and doing my challenges has given me a newfound appreciation that I didn't really have until now. The writing is so good and uniqueness is really strong. To me, it stands out more than Battle Royale does now. Save the World is the sole remnant of a lost era that I hope is never destroyed. At the end of the day, I don't think Save the World will ever get the opportunity to shine like it deserved. There was potential for a great game here, but instead of choosing to stick with it, Epic chose to run. On June 30th, 2020, Save the World was announced to be leaving early access, and that meant Fortnite as a whole was now officially released, 2 years after Epic's planned release for 2018. Save the World never went free-to-play, and again, it probably never will. The Founders Packs were taken off sale and replaced with Save the World's own starter packs, which gave 1,000 V-Bucks each. As a result, if you didn't get the Founders Packs earlier taken off sale, not only did you lose access to any content you could have gotten, but you also lost access to V-Buck daily quests. You would instead earn X-ray tickets. To be fair, a lot of these starter packs have been actually pretty cool and clearly had genuine care put into them. For example, we have skins of each of the robots like Ray, Locke, Kevin, etc. We got a skin for Dr. Vinderman, and even some beloved characters got skins like Clip and Lars. The starter packs were definitely a cool idea. One thing that did come from the June 30th announcement was the declaration that Save the World story was finished. And understandably, that pissed a lot of people off. Save the World story is not finished. Twine Peaks is the final zone, and it never ended up getting a genuine story. All it has is Storm Shield defense missions for home base, and that's it really. Compared to the other 3 zones available having full-on campaigns, Twine didn't get shit. It likely never will get shit, and I think that's just sad. We'll likely never find out what was meant to be, and that really sucks. You can tell the writers had a lot of passion and love for what they were creating, but Epic just didn't care enough because it wasn't as valuable as Battle Royale. Save the World should have been good. It should have gotten its time in the spotlight. But it didn't, and it never will. And to that, all I have to say is, I'm sorry, Save the World.